Perfect. All right, thank you guys for coming back. This is episode number 10 of 26 Sports. Your host, Mike Rether. As you can see, we got the little banner set up thanks to my sister and the fam right there. And I want to introduce a very special guest today. If you don't know who she is, you better find out real quick. Just the one and only Mrs. Don't Worry About the Hair, Mrs. I Don't Give a Damn, Mrs. the HHDiva herself, unified super middleweight champion of the world, Franchon Crews-Dezrun. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Like I was telling the people, I wanted you on the show as soon as we can. So I'm glad I was able to get you on. One of the best women fighters there is in the world today, so I had to get you on.
Thank you.
No problem. So, while let's speak, I know you had a fight earlier in this year. We'll dwell on that in a little bit, but after that, got a lot of momentum going, and then the quarantine hit. So, how have you been dealing with that? At this time.
Well, now thankfully boxing is coming back. So, um, actually the quarantine sucked for everybody, but I kind of needed that, especially the process with my last fight and just
Yeah.
figure stuff out. But everything happened for a reason, and I'm here training, getting ready to show my stuff.
Yeah. So, speaking of that last fight, as I said, we will talk about it a little bit. It was a great fight. I know stuff came out after from your opponent, but it was a great fight. And to everybody that watched it, I was impressed with the way you fought, regardless. Then I was even more impressed knowing that she tested positive, and you guys were, in my eyes, you won that fight regardless. They gave her the decision,
Thank
but
you.
I felt you won it. But you guys were, neck and neck, knowing that she had that advantage, of going in there, on steroids and everything. I was more impressed after finding out, man, you took everything she gave you, didn't go down, fought through, and in my eyes, still won the
Thank
fight.
you.
So, following that fight, I mean, was there some pain that you hadn't felt before in previous fights? I mean, obviously, knowing she was juiced up.
Well, I've been fighting for like my whole adult life and half of my teenage life, and that was the first fight I ever got like hurt, like with caught with a good shot. I was buzzed for like two or three rounds, but I'm just happy my experience and my will got me through. But you could definitely tell she was on something.
Yeah,
I've
could,
sparred with men and women. It just wasn't normal.
yeah, you caught her with the shot. I want to say first or second round, really good. I mean, and it
The
still
first
buzzed her.
round.
Yeah, and you buzzed her really hard, but she recovered really quick. And I was just like, oh, maybe it's kind of early. But usually, if someone gets buzzed early in a fight, it takes them longer to recover because you guys are still kind of cold. So yeah,
It was that, and then like the championship rounds, I was hitting her with some shit, and I almost decapitated her with an uppercut the last round, and she
yes,
just still walked through it. I'm just like, wow, and I could hit.
yeah, yes, you can. There's a reason it's called the HHDiva. So
Period.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, you were hitting her with some bombs. You were landing some solid shots, and yeah, I kept thinking like, man, they both have a chin on them because you guys are both cracking each other with stuff. But as we all say, there's only so much someone can take, and your shots later on were so much more accurate and clean that it was really surprising that she wasn't getting, you know, at least stunned for a second.
This was like this was like an instance if we were fighting a 12 round fight. I truly believe that I would have,
I believe,
that I would have won
I believe
because
so.
my second win was coming in, and when you are artificially juiced up or artificially amped up, you don't have a second win. So once her high was coming down, she was dying down, and I was going up.
Yes.
Especially
And
when that wig came off.
oh, that was one of the most classic moments. We're just sitting there, and then I just heard you. I don't care, just take it off. I was like, oh, I was like, she's serious. It's about to go down. It's about to go down.
You already know. You
Yeah.
already know.
I was like, she's about to get hurt on the other side. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was regardless. I mean, I know I don't like anyone that juices because as I spoke on my show the other day is you're going into a fight to physically hurt someone as it is, and it's supposed to be all love and respect no matter what at the end of the fight. But you're going in there and it's like I said, you're going into a
It
fist
was
fight with
like
a gun.
attempt
Yes.
murder on my life. And mind you, we were supposed to fight in September,
Hmm.
and that person hadn't fought since February of 2019. So you went through this whole cycle of juicing and
Yep.
doing all these things, knowing that you had the WBC and all these other entities behind you that was going to force the fight with me.
Yeah.
So you knew you was training to try to like kill me.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Is I know before the fight and even during the fight, there was a lot of people that were posting to the way she looked, and some people, took it as offensive, thinking like, "Oh, you're making fun of her because she looked." And no, it was really the fact was that a lot of people were kind of like, "No, she doesn't. No matter what you say, that's not how a
Listen,
person's supposed to look." Like she, yeah,
I've been boxing a long time. When they start saying that person's name, they want my radar. I have a thorough team. I do my homework. My team do their homework. Your voice don't change as an adult, and especially as a woman. And you don't overnight grow a chin and heart and all that stuff. Like that was a completely different type of fighter that got in the ring.
yeah, and that was the thing that some people alluded to. She used to be a heavyweight, and she dropped down so her voice could be a little thicker. And I was like, to an extent, not to the way her voice was in that before the interview. I mean, that's what caught me off guard. I had seen her, and I was like, no, she just lost weight until she started talking. Then I was like, no, that sounds, as you said, artificial. There, that doesn't sound legit. So yeah,
Nah.
yeah,
And we too damn old to be going through puberty. So
yeah,
when you are on those type of supplements or those type of chemicals, you get another round of puberty. So
yeah.
that's why her voice got deep.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm just glad no, you didn't come out hurt, to that point where it was something damaging, especially seeing as what we just ran into with Jerome Miller, Big Baby, getting caught for the third time, um, and then you look at the pictures of him and his arms look like some damn, like not just a tree trunk but the actual tree, so same thing
Yeah.
there.
I, it's no room for none of that. And I just hope everybody keep that same energy they got with Big Baby, with the person I fought.
Exactly.
Because trust me, if that wasn't caught when it was caught, the next person they would have fought could have really been hurt.
Yep.
And I can only imagine what's going down in Mexico because this was the first time that person ever fought outside of Mexico.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and
if
as
I
you
had to
said,
walk so they can run, it's all good.
yeah, and that's the thing. She could have, she could have taken this fight, won it how they gave it to her. She would have went back home, maybe had a home defense against someone that had no idea what was going on. She could have really hurt somebody. So yeah, that's the
Hmm.
risk. But yeah, she deserves the ban. She does too. I mean, I believe the WBC pretty much told her to kick rocks as well. So
Nah, they were very lenient, and I it should have been some compensation and all of that. But at
yeah,
the end of the day, what's 4 years gonna be for you? I have my titles back, moving forward to the next level. And that's my goal.
yeah. So speaking of that, you have your titles. You're unified. You've fought in some real tough competition to where you're at right now. What's the next goal for you? Speaking, are you looking to take over the whole division? Be the undisputed champion of that. And if you are, how close do you think you could be to that?
Well, yeah, of course, that's the goal. Like, I mean, you have so many other women. Well, not a lot of them, but some amazing women who've accomplished that feat. And I just want to do my part and build my legacy. And I do believe I'm probably like 3, 4 fights away from it because the other girl in my weight class, she's a unified champion. So a lot of people forget I only have 6, 7, 8 fights,
Yeah,
and they're always been very tense fights. Like I always have some type of drama. Since I signed, I've always had some type of drama before my fights. So I'm settling in, just focusing, and people going to see the best of me. And I'm just looking forward to becoming undisputed and making some good fights.
Yeah, and you know what? Every fight that you've actually had, regardless of the drama, have been really exciting fights. I mean, well,
Yes, I come to entertain. People
yes,
forget I'm the heavy hitting diva,
yes,
and every time you see me, it's gonna be a show.
yes, and
So people expect. That's what I'm gonna give.
yeah, and then both fights that you had with Maricela Cornejo. The first one, it was she had all the hype and everything surrounding her. It was like kind of set for her. You came in and you stole the show. You took it over. It was dominant. Yes, it was. It was. She stayed on her feet,
Yeah.
but it was dominant. I'm gonna be real. It was dominant. I mean, I knew you had it.
People who know boxing, they know what time it.
Yeah.
Even
That,
with the judges trying to cheat.
yeah. When I heard that one, I was like, if they're really trying to get us to Maricela, they picked the wrong fighter to try to give it to her. I was like, because that's not the one you're gonna go through. It was like she's gonna go through a war to try to win this fight, and then the second fight, as you said, there was some drama. I mean, you had a different fighter set up. Stuff went down. She came in last minute.
They switched the gloves. They
Yeah.
put her in like a day before. Mind you, she's been training. She was training for me.
Yeah.
And she knew. She was like probably the backup, but I rose to the occasion,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even a boxing show. It was just like I'm trying to get at you.
Yeah. It was slightly more competitive, I guess, the second time, but you still clearly won the fight again. Um, and yeah, I mean, to me, I, your first fight was against who we all know, Claressa Shields. It was a great fight. I
Yeah.
mean, for it to be both of your guys' first fight, you guys put on a show. And how much did you learn from
Yeah.
that? And how much being you guys are friends. How do you guys talk a lot? And how much do you learn from her when you watch her fight as well?
Like it's like this. I've seen her step from the time she stepped on the scene and to the time she developed into the superstar she is. And for me, I don't have time to hate.
Hmm.
I have time to keep getting mine. And if I see her winning, I'm like, okay, well, I could win too. Like I don't. We just push each other because
Yeah.
the type of fight we had when we debuted, if nobody else is bringing me that kind of energy, then I ain't like you ain't beating me.
Yeah.
Even with my last fight, like take that juice away, that person would have been stopped probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
like I
I
said,
just
yeah, your debut fight was amazing with her. I mean, to know that was your guys' first fight, you guys brought it like man.
yeah, we had to set the tone. Like everybody like, oh, you lost your first fight. Nah, women's boxing won because now you getting those Katie Taylors and
Hmm.
Pursuit rematches.
Yes.
You're getting all these bigger fights. So this is how we're gonna get paid. This is how we're gonna continue to bring notoriety. And both of us are like that. My pedigree speaks, her pedigree speaks. So I know when I walk away from the game, nobody can say, "Oh, Franchon was a paper champ. She was this." Nah, Franchon went through the fire, stood in hell, and made heaven every time.
Yeah, and as you said, your first fight, yeah, it came out as a loss, but some of the best champions, men or women, have lost in their first fight or suffered something that wasn't a victory. Look at Canelo, one of the biggest superstars in the world. His first fight was a draw. So and
And check this out. I already knew what it was, so it was no pressure on me. I knew if I didn't knock Claressa out, I wasn't gonna get a decision. Not to take away from her, like she definitely fought, but I already knew what it was.
yeah,
So when you comfortable and you know what it is, you know who you are, you just go in there and fight.
yeah, and again, I mean, it was still one hell of a fight that time. I mean, it was, and you guys had the perfect
Ooh.
fight, the perfect main event for the evening in Ward and Kovalev. So you guys definitely set the tone that night for the fight.
My bad. Make Kovalev and Ward step their game up.
Yeah, definitely. Because at that point, it was like, you guys better do something because that first fight over here took the show right now. So yeah, and
Dave Chappelle came and gave me props. So hey.
yeah, hey, there you go. And see, that's what I always tell people is that whenever I've gone to a card, I'm gonna be there from fight one till the very end. I don't care who's fighting because you never know who you're gonna see or the type of fight. I remind people all the time. Very first fight that I ever covered in person, was a fight down about 2 towns away from where I'm at, and it was Andy Reese. It's a little casino. He fought outside. It was 100 and some degrees, but he fought outside. And I'm telling people, look at 5 years later, he beat Anthony Joshua for a world championship. So if you don't,
Yeah, I knew. Hey, listen, I always bet on myself. I knew stepping in that ring, I knew I would be a world champ. So it was never a doubt in my mind.
yeah, and then especially to, as you said, the people that know boxing, if they know the amateur that you had, they would know that that's. I remember I want to say it was Jim Lampley or somebody said you guys had fights in the amateurs, and it's not like they're throwing Claressa in with someone that she's gonna knock out in 2 seconds. She was fighting a legit, real fighter. So that I loved it. I love that fight. That was one of my favorite fights.
Yeah, I believe that helped both of us, especially in this pro journey.
Yeah,
Like we both had some adversity. You know, when she fought Hannah, she experienced a situation. Just like when I fought this person, I experienced a situation, and we still rise to the occasion and overcome. Though I didn't get the win on paper, I got the win in skill, I got the win in heart and will, and I'm still champion.
yeah, and as rightfully you should be. So, speaking of that, now you fought beginning of the year. Here we are in July. Of course, we went through the quarantine. You took your time to regroup, recover, and everything. What's the plan like? Hopefully, for the end of the year, do you at least have one, maybe two fights coming?
Yeah, from what I heard from the grapevine, I got a fight coming up. So
That's what I like to hear.
I'm just working. Like, you know, I'll be honest with you. In my whole pro career, only been like a C, the B minus at the most level of conditioning of everything. Like I've never shown my A game, and people who know they know. So that's my goal, to continue to grow and get back to where I need to be and be the best I can be.
Okay, and any possible date about when that fight would be? In the next couple
I'll
months?
know within the next week. Yeah,
Oh,
it's soon. It's gonna be lit. You know, I'm trying to turn the zone into Dezrun. So
there you
when
go.
I step out, it's gonna be lit.
Yeah, there you go. And especially right now with everything that's going on, that's every fight's gonna have eyes on it. So, and and,
Yeah.
and
Listen, I already made my boxing uniform. My boxing uniform was made in March
okay,
because I already manifested, and I knew when I stepped back out, the Dark Phoenix was coming to put on the show. So I'm bringing it for y'all. Just make sure y'all tune in.
you guys hear that? You guys better watch it, and she's gonna bring it. So, yeah, and like I said, man, I've watched your fights pretty much. After that first fight with Clarissa, I stayed watching you. As I said, I
Thanks.
figured you were gonna beat Maricela once that fight was made. You got her both times. From that first fight
That
from Clarissa, you won your next few fights until you got the Maricela fight. How quickly do you feel that or well, no, not quickly, but at one point in the fight, do you feel like, or which fight did you feel like the game slowed down to where, as football players say, the first year they played, it was fast, and then it slowed down from. At what point fighting professionally do you feel like it slowed down to where it was like, oh, I got this?
actually, I've had a rough career. I've had a really rough career. I even had a slight bout with retirement. I guess it was the end of 2017, because I just couldn't understand why nobody wanted to sign me, why nobody wanted to work with me. And then when the people did come, it was bull crap, you
Yeah.
know? And especially all the things I've done in my career, worldwide, amateur, everything, I feel like I was something the game needed. So once I pushed through that and opportunities came, when I fought for that title against Maricela, it was meant to be.
And you got a really good promoter that's doing their part right now to push women's boxing as well in Golden Boy. So, for me, I can't wait to see you hopefully get that unification fight soon, because I know
Yeah.
the way women's boxing right now is going. I mean, as you said, you got Katie Taylor, you got Clarissa, you got the lower weight classes in Golden Boy with Super Bad, Marlon Esparza, Suleiman Urbina. There's a lot of good fights out there that people may not have known about that now are like, oh hey, she's fighting. And now you could prove this point to me because this is the way I always feel. I feel when women fight, they're gonna steal the show every time because I feel women are a lot more competitive than men. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, we go hard. Like we're fighting for peanuts. So we know if we put on a show, if we entertain, and we have something to prove, so we're going to show up and show out every time.
Yeah, and
Like you know, I love Ryan. I think he's a sweetheart. He has a lot of talent. But I wish I had those type of problems he had where I'm
mhm.
upset about getting paid. Like, you know, I have an extensive career. I'm just trying to secure my bags too.
Yeah,
Get my worth as a
and
champion.
exactly. That's the thing with me with that Ryan situation is, yeah, man, you got a big following. You've got some impressive wins, but you don't have a belt yet. You haven't beat a top 10 guy yet. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I see
I
I seen the comparison someone made to him and Shakur Stevenson, and I'm like, Shakur is a world champ. Shakur dominated.
he's like that. He's
Yeah,
worth every penny he gets, and
yeah.
he's gonna continue to grow too. So, I'm excited for Ryan, especially with his fight coming up,
Oh, that's a
apparently
great
with
fight.
Luke Campbell.
Uh,
And this is the time to show up and show out. Like it's money out there, but you gotta still work for it too.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, like I said with Shakur, he's a world champ. He deserves that money. He's proven it. Ryan, yeah, he's got a following, but you got to prove it against the fighters. Like that's something you got to do. With you, you're a world champ, so you deserve more than what you're getting
You know
in my
what?
eyes.
It's a battle, and trust and believe. I believe that going to do right by me is for compensation. Um, Having a person like Oscar, having a person like Bernard, but mostly Oscar, like he's been through the whole amateur channel to the professional, so he definitely can respect my gangster. Like
Yeah,
I proved myself, so and I feel like I have a lot to bring to the table, not just with Golden Boy, but with boxing period. So I just keep doing what I do. We're gonna get it done.
yeah, and I like I said, I can't wait. I know where I'm at after that fight you had. You got a lot of fans that came out from people who are like, hey, when is her
Yeah.
next fight? When does she come on again? I'm like, hey, with everything going down, we'll see. But I know they're gonna be happy to know you're fighting again soon. Hopefully within the next month or two. Um, so now one of the questions I love to ask every fighter is, besides fighting possibly in your hometown, what country would you love to have a fight in?
Well, everybody wants me to come back to London, so I definitely would go over there, either to hear some boos or some yays. I know they appreciate boxing, so.
Yeah. And is there any one specific arena that you would love to fight in, U.S. or anywhere else?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because you fought in the T-Mobile
Just make
one
sure.
in the first fight, so that's still pretty good. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah. Of course, I do want to fight in New York, and I don't know. Just wherever it's lit. What's
Okay.
fit for a queen? That's where I want to go.
Okay. Well, anywhere you would go, I'm pretty sure it would be popping. That's just the way I see it.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it would
Yes.
be
You
going.
see
So
how I turned Texas out?
exactly. So exactly. No matter where you would go, I think it would the party would follow you. Um,
Yes,
so
sir.
as you said, you've been fighting all your adult life. You went through the amateurs up to now. Any any particular fight, doesn't matter if men or women's, that you watched that you said, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do for a living from here on out.
No, no. I just honestly, I started developing a love for boxing and its history after boxing.
Oh, okay.
But I just started to do it to lose weight. But especially being with my husband, Glenn Dezrun Jr., he's definitely helped my love for the sport, and just I've learned so much, and I respect it so much.
Now, as you've been fighting, has there been any fighter that you've ever met that may have left you starstruck?
All of them. Like,
Yeah.
I've always held myself to a standard, but even like working with Oscar and Bernard, like I was like, oh snap, I could believe it, but at first I couldn't believe it. Like, yo, Ray Mercer, we faced off. Like, I've met so many OGs, and that was just like my life is me,
Yeah.
memories I take away and share with my children.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, and um, the way you fight, of course, they're probably coming up to you like, "Hey, great fight." So that's
James
amazing.
Tony was really nice. I got to meet him. It's just Andre Ward. I love him, and it's just like, wow.
That's awesome. And Andre Ward is as you said too. He went through all that amateur grind as well, winning the Olympic medal and then becoming one of the best fighters in the world. So definitely.
Even like knowing Lamont Peterson personally, like a big brother type, and getting wisdom from him. I'm just so blessed to grow up in this sport.
That's awesome. That's perfect. And as you said, getting wisdom and knowledge like that, no doubt has helped you along the way. From fight to fight.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, all right. So you already said that you're not sure what arena. Um, what fight in the amateurs that you had, if you could remember, was one where you just knew like, oh, this is definitely it. This is definitely what this is what I'm meant to do from here on out.
I think it was like my eighth fight. I became a U.S. national champion with like 7 fights. I went to the nationals with 4 fights, and I won 3 or 4, and I became a national champ. And when that happened, it changed my life because I wasn't just fighting just to fight. My mother was battling chronic kidney disease, and she came home after being in the hospital for like 3 months the week I won my tournament. So I just said, you know what? If she fights to live, I fight to win. And though she passed away in 2016, I know I have to continue the journey and continue what I'm doing.
That's perfect. And yeah, she fought and she got to see you win that. So that's something amazing. And we know she got to see you win those world titles as well.
No, she didn't.
No,
She
no, I
she
mean
actually.
not in person. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
She saw my pro fight because I went pro with Claressa, and then like 2 weeks she passed away. But she was just
Yeah. Still, that's awesome. Whoops. Sorry, guys. A little technical thing again. We'll pause it really fast here.
am I back? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. No problem.
That's my husband. I've been out too long. I'm like doing my home improvement stuff. I'm like a creative, so
No problem. Hey, I like we've got a garden in my house right now during this whole thing, so I feel you.
yeah.
So
Yes, I've been decorating, reupholstering, so I'm like, yeah, Martha Stewart.
yeah, hey, and that's like the thing I tell people is that the little quarantine has helped to some extent. There's things that you never knew you could do, like I, I fixed my washer. I had no idea I could pull that off. It was messing up one. It was messing up one day. Next thing I
Hey,
know, I'm over there flipping things over, and then I was like, "Hey, it's good." So
I just redid my dressers, and because I was like, dang, I don't like how they look. I love them. They're sturdy, but they need some new drips. So I didn't paint it, refurbished, and everything. So
that's nice. Yeah. So I know you do a lot of stuff outside of boxing as well. So can you go into that on the other things that you do outside of boxing?
yes, so I do design boxing uniforms, and I'm transitioning into like traditional fashion. I've kind of paused on that so I can revamp and get some things in order. Uh, I actually do public speaking and do those things, but a lot of people can't be in the public right now.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is I'm 5 classes away from getting my bachelor's degree, so
Congrats,
I've just been
congrats.
focusing on that. Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah.
I think
And
he's called the
n- now, as you said, you're five classes away. I've always attributed when a fighter is doing college courses, things like that, into boxing, that it helps your ring IQ. Do you believe that that also helps you in the ring? All right, another little check hold, huh? Good. Give me a couple seconds here, guys. Here you
everything is
go.
sorry.
No problem. All right, now we're back on. Good. So yeah, so with college and everything, obviously, I mean, as you said, you're five classes away. Do you think that the smarts in college helps out a lot in your ring IQ as well?
Oh, I've always been gifted. Boxing stimulates me because it's always something coming at me, so I always got to keep my gears ticking. But what I'm taking in college is helping me refine and actually organize what I've already built as far as my business, my small business. So I'm learning the language, using my street smarts and my book smarts so I can, realize from it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And that's what I always like to see with fighters is fighters that have outside things that's gonna help them out even years on in when they're done fighting. So that's a good thing that I know. And as I said, I've been following your career, so I know you've had that. You can also sing. Some people that may not know that you could also sing. So yeah, that's
I
one
have
of
a
the impressions.
surprise for everybody. So when I step in the ring, like leading to stepping back to the ring, it's gonna be amazing.
Okay, we're gonna definitely
I
look at that.
also have to finish my documentary from everything that went on my fight and stuff. So I have some things planned.
There you go. See, so everybody, you heard it here. She's got some big things coming up within the next couple months, especially for that fight. So first fight back, you guys are gonna definitely want to see it. Um, Now,
Yes.
as you said, you're around Oscar, you're around Bernard, uh, but as we've seen with Golden Boy, a couple fighters had their little issues. Speaking of Ryan, what has your experience been with them? Robert, Eric, all of them. What has your experience been with them?
Well, I keep an open dialogue. Um, I'll say it's a growing process. It's been good. I can't complain. Like my journey is different from everybody's, but I think I'm definitely proving that I'm the real deal,
Definitely,
and that that solidifies me. Where if I do want to fit, definitely warranted because I'm a good investment, never a liability. That's all I can say.
and hey, that's how it is. Yeah, definitely. And from what we've seen, I mean, you picked up the world title in that fifth fight, and you've gone to where you've gone. So definitely, it was worth the investment. And
It's like this, you talking with people, you could deal with them on a personal level, but when you get to that level, you talking business.
yeah.
So that's why I stress the fact I'm a great investment. I'm not a liability.
Yes, definitely. And again, you've proven that. You've definitely proven it.
Thank you.
Um, One of the things that I really enjoyed that you guys put on, the women put on, and it's like what I talked with Salem about, was that video you guys did, the Don't Rush Challenge. That thing was perfect
Yes.
because, oh, as I told Salim too, I'm gonna let you know, my fiance loves the outfits you wear to your fights. Um,
Ah,
she loves the one you wore at the weigh-in last time. She's like, oh man, hey, if you know her, ask her. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask her that question. That's not cool for a guy to do that. But she just every time she's seen you fight, she's like, man, I love her dress. I love the shorts. I love the shirt. I love, and I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I was like, whenever I do
see,
talk to her,
that's
I'll
what
let her
I'm
know.
telling you. I understand these things because I'm a woman and I love fashion and I'm entertaining. If you look at some of the classic entertainers like Tina Turner, Diana Ross, Cher, every time they stepped on the stage, they were giving looks.
Yep.
So I understand when I step in the ring, I'm giving looks and it's my self expression. I'm just glad people appreciate it. So tell your fiance thank you.
No problem. I will. Yeah, she's like, oh, I love that one. I love that one. And the last time you fought, she goes, I hope she knocks her out because I love her outfit, and she's always up there dressing nice. And I was like, all right. I was like, I was like, whenever I talk to her, I'll let her know. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
She's.
wait till you see the next one.
I'm gonna let her know too, because yeah, she. I always laugh with people. My fiance, when I met her, we weren't too different, but she didn't know my level of interest in sports, particularly boxing and all that. And now she's a really good photographer, so she's actually gone to me with me to fights, taking pictures, and people tell her like, "Wow, how long
Yes.
have you been doing this?" And she's like, "Honestly, once I met him." But the pictures she's taken, they've improved so
Teamwork
much.
make the dream.
Exactly, and that's what I tell everybody.
And
One of the
you
fights,
want to be with somebody who
yeah,
brings out the best in you.
exactly. One of the fights we went to, somebody actually called us the golden team, and I was like, golden team, and he goes, yeah, he goes, you do the videos, the interviews, all that. He goes, and your girl takes the best pictures. I was like, hey man, I was like, appreciate that. So hopefully maybe one day once everything clears out, we'll get out there and have her, take some pictures of you out there wherever we can meet up at or something.
Yeah, now get you to interview my husband.
Definitely, definitely. Everybody that wants to come on, I need to get them on. I want to expand this and let everybody know. Get on here. Everybody got a spot here for me. Uh, Definitely from
Got you.
amateurs to up to the legends. It don't matter. I'll bring anybody on.
Thank you.
Now, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, as I said, I've been wanting you on since I knew I was gonna do this. So it's to me, it's a real honor to
Oh,
have you on. It means a lot,
thank you.
and I've a big admirer of your fights, fan of your fights, fan of yours for stuff you do in the ring and outside. As I said, I do follow you, so I really do
Thank you.
appreciate that for coming on. So besides that, I mean, I know it's a Sunday or it's a Saturday. It's a little bit later where you're at than where I'm at. So before we go, I want you to go ahead and tell everybody all your social media, everywhere that they could follow you, and anything else that you want to say.
Yes, I am on Twitter and Instagram at THEHHDIVA, the HH Diva, Facebook, Franchon Crews-Dezrun. And just stay tuned. August is going to be lit because when I get the ball rolling, I'm rolling over everybody.
Definitely, definitely.
So,
And again, everybody, if you don't follow her now. Be ready. Go back on YouTube, watch all her previous fights. They're all excellent. Um, for me, real quick, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors that I have. Cali Smoke Shop #4, North Maple, 302 North Maple, Maple in Illinois, and Dirt Magnus Janitorial, 559-374-7112. Home business and office that will take care of you. And hey,
yeah.
it's another special Saturday show that we do for you for the fans. Especially had to get the champ on, unified champ. Gonna be possibly one day soon the undisputed champ. Again, follow her, watch her,
Period.
follow her.
Look, Golden Boy know what it is. We gonna make it happen.
Exactly. So follow her, watch her, pay attention, listen, and then hey, for you guys that you got the women at home love fashion, tell them to check her out too because they're gonna love her work as well. So again, I want to thank you, Franchon, for coming
Yes.
on. It means really a lot to me. Really appreciate it. And for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in today, episode 10 of 26 Sports. Catch you guys on Monday. I have Douglas Fisher from Ring Magazine checking it out. So again, peace out.